Hi again. Here we are to talk about JavaScript. What I'd like to do now is I'd like to use these objects in JavaScript to do something useful. And my goal here is to make a web page based on data from a JavaScript object array. Okay? So actually, it's going to be an array full of objects. We're going to mix objects and arrays together, right? And then we'll make content that we print on the page. Okay, and why is this useful? Well, sometimes you have pages, but the data comes from somewhere else. The method that I'm going to teach here could easily be adapted to loading JSON from some source like a database or some other service or API that supplies data to you. But we'll just make up a simple JavaScript object to keep things simple and understandable, right? For now, right? And then you can expand on these ideas. Let me make a new document, and let's call this example number 4, okay? And what we're going to do, first thing, is we're going to create a script tag. And so just to get started, what we want to do is we want to create a script tag. And what I want to do is I want to load some data from another file, right? So just to keep my files organized, I'm going to load this data from another file and then use it here, okay? Now, one of the things that happens in JavaScript is if you declare variables in anywhere in JavaScript, if you say var d equals 10, then this d variable is global and it's available through your entire program, okay? So that also means that if I create another script file here, and I use source or another script tag, and I use source to load a file here, any JavaScript in that file will be available to the script here. Okay, so let's try that, right? So we understand that. I'm going to make another file. Let's call it data.js. Okay, so actually I'm going to not type that in there. I'm going to save it and name it data.js. Okay, so I'll save it into my folder with example number 4. And then in here, I'm going to say var data equals, and then I'll make an array. Okay, and we're kind of allowed to have white space in the array, so I'll add a line return there. And what I want to do is I want to create an array of objects. Okay, so every element in the array, if I took out the white space here, my array would look like this, right? And I might add another object with a comma and curly braces, right? Something like that. Oops, I lost a curly brace there. A square bracket. So there we go, right? So my array might look like this. And this object here is going to have properties that describe the content that I want to display. So imagine I have a website and it's displaying like my portfolio or information, and each section of information is stored in properties here. So I might have a property for the title, I might have a property for the background color, I might have a property for some content text, I might have a property for a link or a background image or something like that, right? And then each one of these will describe the content in a section, okay? So let's go back like this. I'm going to start here with my square brackets and the curly brackets, and we'll start with one object. And what I'm going to do is arrange it like this. So I've got the square brackets on the outside and then a curly bracket on the inside here. And then, all my information is going to go in here in name value pairs, right? So let's give this an ID so we can identify it, and then maybe I'm going to kind of add some line returns there. Maybe it'll need a title, colon, and we'll say, hello world, comma. Don't forget the commas here at the end of the line, right? Maybe we need a description. This will be some, JavaScript is fun, right? And then what else do we need? Maybe we need a color, right? So I'll say, let's call it BG color for background color, right? And we'll pick some color. I don't know, I need a good color. Let's do F00. Now it's red. Let's do, we'll do that pink color, right? And there we go. So now we've got a bunch of values in here. You know what I should do is this actually, we should save that as a string. Okay, so there we go. So we've got an ID, a title, a description, a background color. You know, you could expand on this, right? Don't get too crazy, but for right now, we'll just do 4 properties. And then what I'd like to do is for each section of my project, I can duplicate this. We'll put a comma here, and then I can paste it like that and make another section. So let's make this one ID number 2. This will be JavaScript, and then this will say, you know, wow, I never knew JavaScript was so cool. Okay, and then this background could have a different color. Let's make it, I don't know, let's make it kind of a cyan color, right? Okay, I think that's cyan. It's kind of, yeah, there we go, right? And this one's kind of that pink color. Terrible colors, I know, but anyway. So here's our data. Okay, so now the thing is, I've defined a variable called data, and it's an array with 2 items, item 1, item 2, and each of those items is an object. When I go to example number 4, the first file I created, I'm going to import my JavaScript here by saying data.js. So this is going to load that file, and that data variable is available here. Okay, so for example, in here, what I can do is I can say for, and then I can say var, you know, p in data, and then I can say, you know, console log data bracket p. Okay, now why are we going to do that? I could have just put all of that data in this file, and I could, but actually this file is going to become my HTML document, and I'm going to put all the HTML up here later in the example, and so this file will have a lot of stuff in it, and I don't want to make it super long, you know, by including all of this information, and this could get longer too if I have more sections in my project. So by keeping this here, I can just go to this file, look directly at the data, I can go to this file and work with my HTML, right? So for right now, I'm just going to print all of the items onto the page just to see that this works, right? And this kind of follows up the last example, okay? And what we'll do is we'll do this. We'll go to our folder here. Let's open this guy up in the browser and get the console there. And what does it say here in the console? Oh, look, it says object and object. So now if you remember, our data has 2 items in it, each of which is an object. So this is the first object here, and this is the second object here. And if I open these up by clicking the little arrow, you can see it's got background color, description, ID, and title. And the second one has another, you know, background, description, ID, and title. Okay, so that's pretty good. So now all we have to do is get the data to show up on the page. Okay, I'll do that in the next video. So that kind of sets us up, right? So anyway, thanks for watching, and then we'll continue later.